It's the Jim Fannin Show. We've come to take your mind. No bueno.
Am I still on? Fraxinus Prime. He is my guest. I've got him for a little while. Buckle up and welcome aboard. Oh, I'm exhausted. The open. You know, I'm an old radio guy, and Danny Paquin, my barber from St. Catharines, he hates that open. He's like, Jimmy, like, what are you doing? You're losing everyone. What do you, like, there's no video to it, nothing. I got a picture of Ash up on the background there. I'm going to try and seamlessly switch over to Zoom and have a conversation with my man. If you could unmute your mic there, brother, if you haven't done so already. Here's where you find them on the interwebs. The links will be in the show description. This is where you find them on the... Oh, hang on. You're not looking at the screen I'm looking at. Here we go. That's where you find them on the YouTube. This is where you find them on the Bandcamp. This is where you find Fraxinus. I'm Fraxinus. It's a rough one for my tongue, bro. This is where you get them on the gram at Fraxinus Prime. And the link you sent me of that short is not working, but we're going to wing it. We're going to talk to Ash. How you feeling, brother? This has been a long time coming. I'll tell you a little bit about that story, but let's put you over here so people can see your face. There we go. And you're coming in loud and clear. What a handsome human being you are, brother. I can just tell you thank you for the impact that you had on my life. I know you probably don't remember meeting me. I met you a couple times. Oh, and it broke my heart. I've got a picture of me and Jason, but for some reason that I had a memory drop and I tried to save it and I backed it up to my dad's computer. I lost my only picture of you and me standing beside each other. Brock University. Seen you many times. But the conversation, and I told you this offline, that we had, I was wise enough to understand that in the moment, not because I'm talking to a rock star, because I don't get like that normally. I am nervous today, though. I got to tell you that. I've been amped up all day to talk to you. But in the moment, I knew I was having a conversation that I would remember forever. And you know how many times I've told that story? So welcome aboard. It's been a long time. Thank you for the time. And how you feeling, bro?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim. I'm gonna light this candle for us. Okay.
Beeswax, I hope.
Because I just think it's the right thing to do.
It better be a beeswax candle if you're into all this chakra aura, you know.
No, it was just a gift. It was just a gift from a friend.
Got to get on that beeswax because they're very good for the negative ions, apparently.
There we go. Yeah, it just smells nice.
Okay. Thank you, brother. How you feeling? What's going on in your world? It's been a ride, I guess, huh?
You know what I realized today, Jim? Is I only ate orange things today. I ate carrots, clementines, and orange peppers. And as I was eating the last carrot, I went, man, I wonder, because you could take the pigment on. If you eat orange things, it makes your skin orange. So if I'm looking extra glowy, it's because sometimes they think you have liver disease, like it's jaundice, and because then they realize that the baby ate too many carrots. So
You got to be careful with me. I'm very gullible when the red light is on.
but no, I'm serious.
Okay.
That's what I ate today.
All right.
Orange things.
I got nothing. Where do I go from
Nope.
there, bro? You're
No
a
problem.
conversation
You know what?
killer, man.
How
What
about
happened?
we just carry on?
Usually, and we talked about a little bit about this offline, is I like to go. I want to find out who you are. Like, I know what you've done. I know where you've been. I don't know what you've done since USS, but I'm really interested how you grew up. I'm a Christian guy. I don't talk about it a lot, but I have a strong faith. I always wonder, is God in the house that you grew up in? What was your relationship with that and the family and from the bio? And it's kind of weird how in my world you might say the universe, or whoever you believe in. I say God puts people on your path when you're ready. And we weren't ready to get together. You weren't ready to be on my radio show. I wasn't ready to have you, and now we're here. So, I'm really interested in how you grew up and the influences. And for the first time, I heard Beck in USS the other day, like the artist Beck. I'm like, whoa, I've never heard that. I forget what song I was listening to. I'm like, oh, echoes of Beck. Wow, So, anyways, I'm interested in how you grew up, what the influences were, and I know you got a tight family because you just put out an album dedicated to your mom, and it's awesome, bro. I'm proud of you. Nice job. So tell us about your early family.
Well, I had a pretty happy childhood, Jim. As far as childhoods go, I had some complications. I got like really debilitating, crippling Crohn's disease when I was about 11 years old. And my goal in life was to be a professional hockey player. I was single-mindedly focused on hockey, like a beagle. Is that like looking at a ball? And so when this Crohn's disease hit, I was in the hospital. I couldn't walk. I was bedridden. I couldn't play sports anymore. So my mom was all about teams and community and camaraderie. She said, Ash, you can play hockey anymore. So what can you do? And she said, is there a theater at your school? And I said, yeah, Mom. She said, why don't you audition for the school play? So Jim, because I couldn't play hockey anymore. I was so sad and depressed as a kid. And so I auditioned for the play, and it was a musical, and I got the part, and that's the first time that I ever sang in my life. So it's this thing that I was so sad. All I wanted to do was play hockey. I was really, really, a really, really good hockey player as a kid. And so when I joined the play, I met this half Sri Lankan, half Norwegian guy who became my best friend. And we wrote this song called "I Like Dogs," which was the first song I ever wrote. And it was very simple.
Oh, no.
All I knew was this chord.
Awesome.
I like dogs. I like dogs. So that was the start of music, and and then I the same seriousness that I took for my intention to become a professional hockey player, I poured it into music, and not soon after that, to my own horn, but we were the best band at our school. We were winning the Battle of the Bands in the high school yearbook, most likely to be on your kid's wall on a poster. It was very clear to me that whatever I put my mind to, I could excel at. And so I took that very seriously. In terms of you asking about, a spirituality in my life, I was raised Catholic. The thing that I loved so much was the music at church, the songs, very much like when I saw Coldplay. I don't know if you've ever seen them in concert, but in 2006, I saw Coldplay, and it was a very sacred experience. And it was, they say, Jim, at sporting events like soccer games, hockey games, at concerts, and then in church, those are the three places where people get together and they believe in the same thing all together. And that's a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. And so I got that experience, Jim, in going to church. I got that experience being an athlete. And I got that experience being a musician. So I've had that experience so powerfully in all ways. So that being drawn to places where people believe deeply and together is what I've always been drawn to. So yeah, that took me right through high school. And then, like you mentioned, hearing back in the music, in your formative years, they say whatever music you listen to between 13 and 16 is probably what you're going to listen to in the old age home. So for me, that was Nirvana Unplugged. That was hearing Beck's Loser album. Oh, sorry, Mellow Gold, which had "I'm a Loser, Baby."
All right.
And then Jim. So here's a very fascinating confluence in my life. Is right at that time. Remember when Nirvana Unplugged came out in 1994? That was a very powerful moment in rock music history, because you got to hear this dynamic melody, this absolutely real and true artist, and at the same time as that was happening, Jim, like drum and bass, the rave culture, the rave scene from the UK had come over to Toronto, to Canada, and it was completely underground. So at the same time that Nirvana Unplugged was happening, the rave culture was exploding. And my dad, my parents were divorced at this point. My dad had bought an abandoned ski lodge north of Toronto, this giant 2-story beautiful wood building. And it was in this valley beside a landfill north of Toronto in the country. And he got approached by some rave promoters, some party promoters. They wound up, I was visiting my dad for the weekend, okay? And all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of a 10,000 person rave. And I'm a kid, I'm playing hockey, I'm listening to Nirvana. All of a sudden, I'm in the middle of this experimental, just blowing my mind with this music. This drum and bass has this energy. And it's the first music I heard that matched my energy. And so as soon as I was there, this is before, the internet, and this was something that you could only know if you were there. I heard it, and I knew that I wanted to combine that music with what I heard on Nirvana's Unplugged. And so fast forward to 2004, when I meet Jay Parsons, aka Human Kebab. I meet him and another producer named Charles Topping, and that's when it came to fruition. I met those two guys, and I was able to put that together, hearing that grunge unplugged music from Nirvana and the energy of drum and bass music and everything about the rave scene. And then that became USS. That's how I got from there to there.
Yeah.
And that's where you know me from. So my goal, Jim, was to get that drum and bass infused rave culture with grunge and alternative rock, put them together and get it on the radio. So in 2009, my dream came true, and the USS song Anti-Venom, which is a grunge drum and bass rave song, got on the radio.
And you know what? You're one of the few bands that I don't know the song names. Like I know Work Shoes and I know, Hollow Point and stuff like that. But all the greatest songs that I know are from seeing you at a show. I never, you were past my vinyl stage. And even CDs were on their way out then, I had very few stuff, and I was listening to mostly local music, it seemed. But I noticed when I went into my deep USS dive this week that there's so many classic hits that I have no idea the titles of, or couldn't name them. And then, dude, I'm just falling in love with your poetry all over again, man. It's, I'm a sucker for the poet, and in my world, they're all men. I got another guy that also has a strong Beck sound or influence to him. He's in Australia. He goes by the name Strange Juice, Mike Anderson.
Oh, wow.
The most.
I'll have to check him out. Strange Juice.
Yeah, I did an interview with him. He did it with a chicken in his lap. Just an absolutely sweet human being. But he plays all the instruments, produces all the tracks, and somehow I was thinking of you two today. I'm like, a true living poet. Like I don't, it has to just come to you, because when I sit down and try and write, I can't make anything sound beautiful or,
So at the same time that I heard Beck when you heard "Loser" in the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey, butane in my veins, and I'm out to get the junkie with the. I heard the Tragically Hip. That's like the Canadian, one of the Canadian best Canadian band of all time, and Gord Downie was this incredible poet, and they wrote this song called "Little Bones."
Right.
And it's like when I heard those two songs, it like activated something in me, and there's this. Like, so they say, so with our genes, right? So they could say you're genetically predisposed to, say, bipolar disorder. And then it will take something like a trigger, like a trauma in your life, or say it's like a medication or like a drug-induced experience, say something like MDMA. And so that opens the gene, it like triggers the gene. So what I've found in my life is that I've had these activations where it's like as soon as I heard that Beck song, and then as soon as I heard Little Bones, it gets so sticky down here, better butter your cute finger up. Like it just like boom, it like activated. And all of a sudden I went from, kind of like I grew up on 1950s like beautiful bubblegum pop music, Paul Anka, put your head on my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Just that beautiful melody that you could sing to a baby. That's what a lullaby is. It's a song you can hum to a baby with no instruments. So what I learned from a very young age is you need to be able to sing your song to a baby with no instruments. That's how great the melody needs to be, that you could do it that way. So that activated something in me, and now it's just like I'm taking dictation.
What strikes me in this conversation is I grew up Catholic as well. I'm a confirmed Catholic, and I remember my niece going. My brother would say, my little brother is like, I'm not Catholic anymore. And his Catholic niece, or his Catholic daughter, my niece, said to him, she was young too. She said, Daddy, have you been baptized into another religion? And he says, no. She says, well, you're still Catholic then. I went through and got baptized as an adult, and I call it rock and roll pretty church. So I was on the video switching 5 or 6 cameras. Wow. For a guy with my mind, it was just all I ever wanted to do. But here, I compare it to my religious experience at the Philadelphia Eagles game in Philadelphia. Veterans Day weekend, Randall Cunningham, the lifelong Philadelphia Eagle, comes to town as a Dallas Cowboy, the competition. It was the Jets fly over. I look back, there's a kid with a hand on his heart singing the national anthem, tears rolling down his face, and I said to the guy beside me, I'm having a religious experience. Mm-hmm. And that you nailed it. And I never really got it, but that's exactly where I was, in a place and at a concert. Man, that shit happens a lot. You're on the floor and you're like, where am I? You're out of body almost. You're like, in this place, a realm that you can't seem to attain anywhere else. So I appreciate your words there, because you described it perfectly, man. And music, it's the way to everyone's soul, right? So yeah, I'm excited to see what you got coming up, man.
Yeah. So, so this reconnection between us, have you ever heard, in farming, are you familiar with farming techniques?
Not really.
Okay. So just a simple analogy. So, every couple of years when they grow, say, corn, they have to leave the field and not grow anything. And they call it letting the field go fallow.
Okay.
So when it goes fallow, like natural plants like clover and things will grow up. And then when they retill the soil, it will put minerals back into the soil. It'll strengthen the soil. It fertilizes the soil naturally. So that's kind of where I've been, in the last couple of years since USS retired.
Okay.
And yeah, like an Etch-a-Sketch, you shake the Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
So that can be a bit turbulent, that shaking, but it's necessary. You got to shake it up. So yeah, in the last couple of years, when you said at the beginning about things coming in front of you or like presenting themselves, in this incredible series of almost like a recipe coming one ingredient at a time. So say, for example, I was watching Leonard Cohen. So how I get to Fraxinus Prime. First off, Fraxinus is the Latin word for ash. if you look at plants and trees, they'll have different Latin names, and the Latin name for the ash tree is Fraxinus. So what a neat way to title yourself in a new kind of way. So my friends call me Frax, which is wonderful and fun. And so say, for example, how did I get to what I'm doing now? I just put out this album, my first solo debut album called Magnesium Heart Space. I found this picture of me and my mom when I was 2 years old. And I knew that I had to make an album for my mom and give it to her for a surprise birthday present, which was just on Saturday, like the 11th. So, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't set goals, you're not going to achieve shit. So I set a pretty fierce goal, and yeah, I made it happen. So what informed this album, like these new ingredients in my creative cake. So say, for example, like I watched Leonard Cohen tribute concert in Montreal after he passed away with my father. And my dad said, "Oh, me and your mom used to listen to Leonard Cohen. Like that was our favorite. So Long, Marianne and Suzanne." And all of a sudden I'm listening to these records with my dad, and he's like, your parents get divorced, you forget that they were so in love at one point. All you can think about is the trauma and the pain and the boy, he didn't blah blah blah. And then it's like, oh my God, I got to have this moment with my dad of like, he took this picture of my mom. They were so in love. So it's like I reconnected with before it got broken. You know what I mean? And like a lot of the USS songs, my former band, they came from joy and they came out of, harmony, but there's pain in there. And there's there's that. Okay, so so it's just Leonard Cohen. So the way that this process has worked for me is that I'm listening to Leonard Cohen with my dad. Wow, I've never listened to Leonard Cohen. The guy doesn't sing, he talks. So long, Marianne. And all of a sudden, I'm looking up his music. I find a video on YouTube of when Leonard Cohen in his 50s lived at a Zen Buddhist monastery in California for 5 years. And oh my gosh, oh my goodness. This man who has, been trying to find his way path to peace in his life through all these different things, through women, through drugs, through alcohol, through all these things, found this peace at this monastery. So what did I do? I did a Google search, and I found a Theravadan Thai Buddhist monastery near Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And I went and lived with the monks. And let me tell you, thank you, Leonard Cohen, because I learned how to, I found something there that worked. And I don't consider Buddhism, it's a psychology, like a psychology of living. And it's really helped. And it informed this album. It made me okay with silence. I'm not afraid of myself anymore. And then I wound up connecting because I just got on Facebook. I've never been on the internet. I've lived a very private, introverted life, and so it's been exciting reconnecting with people and meeting people. And so this really fantastic gentleman I met in New Brunswick in the east coast of Canada, he reached out to me on Facebook Messenger. He said, "Oh, I've been making music. Do you want to hear it?" And he sends it to me, and it's this like sacred meditation soundscapes with birds and oceans, and it's so calming and wonderful and beautiful. And it's like what I listen to when I wake up in the morning. It's just calm, like just to be calm. And so every day I wake up, and some people will think that it's cheesy, but whatever. If I don't program my mind in the morning, it just is not kind to me. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. It can turn into social anxiety. It can turn into agoraphobia, like not being able to be around people, anxiety attacks. And so almost every day I record into my voice memos, like the mindset that I want to have that day. And so I reached out to Mike, his name's Mike Oz, and I said, "Hey, Mike, can I put one of your meditation soundscapes on my album?" and can I put one of my, my motivational affirmations on top of it? I think it might be a neat thing for people to listen to me think. And so anyways, so we go from Leonard Cohen to Living with Monks to re-meeting Mike Oz to all of a sudden these meditation, calm soundtracks coming into my life in a fashion that I can participate, I can create with it, as opposed to just going on Spotify and putting relaxing music and being an observer. It was a dream to become a participant, and here it is.
Wow, I'm proud of you, man. It's a great story, and I actually took my niece to the Buddhist temple in Niagara Falls. It's right on the Parkway there, and
the 10,000 Buddhas.
Wow, what an
awe. Oh, do you want to hear a really funny story about that? About that specific Buddhist monastery? Yeah. I have. Okay, so when USS was recording albums 3, and 4, and 5, we were doing it in Ridgeway, which is outside of Niagara Falls, Canada.
Where?
And near Crystal Beach in Ridgeway.
Yeah, what place? The old church?
No, we had it was at like the studio of our producer.
Okay.
Yeah, he lived there at the time. So we were staying in Niagara Falls, and every morning I go jogging by the falls. There's this beautiful place to stay. And so I started volunteering at the 10,000 Buddhas temple, the Buddhist temple. Yeah. Just doing gardening, pulling weeds, whatever they need me to do. I just like being, again, going to places where people believe. Going to a place where people are, encouraging harmony and peacefulness. Like, I'm in. So I'd go early in the morning. I'd volunteer at the temple, cleaning up the incense and all this stuff. So there was a monk. And so it's right by Niagara Falls, like Clifton Hill, the fun parks and the wax museums. And so he's walking, and for the day, he's taken a vow of silence, and he's walking down the street, and he's hitting an ohm bowl, and he's ringing a bell, and with each step. And so somebody calls the cops because they think that a crazy person is walking down the street. So he's taken a vow of silence. So the cops come, and they can't. He can't say anything. So they basically lift him and put him in the cop car, and basically put him in the holding cell until he can talk again, because he's taken a vow of silence. So anyways, 10,000 Buddhas.
Yeah.
That is commitment, man. That is.
It makes me think that, many a Catholic churches I walk into, you feel like you're somewhere special. My church, my church back home, where I got baptized and where I still participate in a Christian men's group at 7:30. It's more a men's group, but it's Christian based. 7:30 every Thursday mornings. It's kind of like I call it rock and roll pretty church. Like, it's great, and there's amazing moments there, but it's like a concert hall. They got a huge soundboard and a lot of gear, and then you walk into something like the Buddhist temple, and you're intimidated by the massiveness, everything. You feel like you're somewhere special, and I didn't know how to walk through it. It was just open. There was no one there, and I was like, did we take our shoes off? Everywhere I go, I'm like, oh no, am I doing something wrong here or what? But I got home. My niece's mother gave us shit because she's Catholic and she didn't want her in a Buddhist temple. I'm like, it was the most amazing. And Brooke loved it. She was about 10. She loved it.
So even when I'd be on tour, I was always, I would always felt this pull to go to any, some type of holy or sacred, some type of holy sacred place, whether it was a Notre Dame cathedral or a Muslim, a mosque or a temple or a monastery or a cemetery. I don't know. I just always been drawn to that type of environment, and so I know exactly what you're talking about. Also the acoustics. My favorite place to sing is in a squash court. Yeah, and I do have a dream of for a Fraxinus Prime concert, an a cappella concert with 10 or 11 people sitting in a circle, and I'm just sitting in the middle singing my songs a cappella in a squash court. So that's
I am
2025 goal.
I am so done with the big concerts now. I remember seeing Burger Blake and Gould at Yoga by Sarah with 30 or 40 people just glued, quiet, quiet as a mouse. And they love it, right? Because they play bars where nobody listens, right?
Yeah. Well, we did my friend has like this art punk tattoos art space workspace in Toronto, in the West End of Toronto, in this industrial plaza. And that's why I threw like a pop-up record release party there. Again, same thing, like 25, 30 people in this beautiful space. And I'll tell you what, I mean, that was for my friends. It wasn't on the internet, it wasn't advertised. We just wanted to have a party. It was like a 1981 New York City, Lower East Side. Like, can we have a party and no one's live streaming the party? Like, let's celebrate it. For me, it was like a graduation. It's like I didn't know what the fuck I was going to be after I wasn't Ash from USS anymore.
Wow.
And it's been exhilarating to pixel by pixel to become a big picture. That's how a picture becomes a picture. And so, but I think that people in 2025 are going to be willing to be in a room with 30 or 40 people, where you might pay a bit more for a concert ticket, but it's just you guys in there. And I think that I think people are going to really value that now. So
definitely. Yeah. When I was at the radio station, there was Dallas Green tickets in the green room, and the Swollen members were playing my buddy's club in the Falls. And I took the Dallas Green tickets, and I have no regrets. But as soon as I sat in the seats and I saw Dallas Green was this big, I'm like, I made the wrong choice. I could be with the band backstage at my buddy's club front row. Like, what did you do, Jimmy? But again, no regrets. I had a great night. But anyway, it's when we spoke at the park, I was eavesdropping on a conversation, and I've told this publicly before, but certainly is in context now. And I overheard you talking to whoever my connection was. I can't remember who the girl I was connected to at the time, but she was connected to management, and I was with her, and I heard you say something like being clean or something like that. And then when I had my one-on-one, the chance to speak to you directly we were alone, and said, hey, I was eavesdropping, but I heard you say something about being clean. What's with like the crack house arrest? And I'm feeling kind of wired. I've been wide awake since Wednesday. It's Monday, and and maybe I should let you tell the story. I don't know. I mean, it was such an impactful conversation for me. The way I remember it is, you said, dude, I was like covertly just a mess on I think you said every letter of the alphabet as far as substances when you were recording one of those albums, and nobody kind of knew. You hit it really well.
Yeah.
And then
you know what? I think that we can all look back on our life experience, and we can see when there was harmony and when there was chaos. And when I reflect, actually preparing, like you reaching out to ask me to do this, it was almost like the dust finally settled, and I kind of wrote out my entire life, and I'd never done that before. And what I was able to observe was that, if we talk about harmony, we talk about chaos, the times in my life that were chaos, the ingredients I was putting into my body and into my mind and into my spirit, if you will, weren't the best fuel for sustainability. And so, without any judgment, I can look back at waves in my life. Like, there was a USS song called "This Is the Best," and people will think that song is about partying, and they go, "This is the best. This is the best." But it is about a period of my life where I wasn't putting the best ingredients, for example, alphabet drugs, if you will, into my body, and it created a lot of chaos, and it there you say you're trying to project an image that you're this wholesome person, and now you're keeping these secrets in your life because you want people to still think you're this certain kind of person. And it can, it starts to fracture your relationships. And the good news is that you can just start putting different ingredients into your body. So I know that when I go to a spring near my house that's been there for like 200 years. It's generational. I drink this incredible water, and that's a better ingredient for this system. And yeah, that. So when I had you had overheard me discussing with somebody a period in my life where, like, I don't look at things in terms of being sober or not sober. When I think about the word clean living, I think about the fact that I love to have a Big Mac about once a month. I love McDonald's. I used to work at McDonald's. I also love Coca-Cola. I like having a Mexican Coca-Cola in a glass bottle, ice cold. But I'll tell you what, Jim, I don't drink Coca-Cola 3 times a day. I don't eat McDonald's 3 times a day. When I was living a certain type of way and putting, ingredients that weren't the best into my system for this situation, I got results that weren't sustainable. So, yeah, man, clean. Yeah. Me eating carrots and orange peppers and oranges today is that's the fuel that brought this album out of me. So when I put these ingredients in, like, I do a lot of, like, there was times in my life where I didn't leave my bedroom for months. And you talk about like agoraphobia. Like, I almost felt allergic to people, like allergic to human beings. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So, I've been on medications, I've been on benzodiazepines, I've been on all those types of medications. But they weren't a solution in the bigger picture. So I learned how to, I learned how to breathe. I learned how to, like, really conscious, like, take, like, long, slow, deep breaths every morning. So yeah, man, it's just sort of like shifting behaviors and shifting ingredients. And then, so here we are now. And like I said before, I'm not afraid of myself anymore. And I'm here to sing songs, and I'm here to make people laugh, and with things that are going on in the world and with the state of things, I try not to focus on it, because here's what I'm here to do. I'm here to comfort and entertain. Okay. I'm here to comfort and I'm here to entertain, Jim. And when the world is unsettled, I need to do life needs me even more. It needs me to do my job, especially when things are unsettled. And to me, it's like a civic responsibility. It's a duty. It's like, I get up in the morning, I make my bed. My room has nothing in it but my bed. That's it. I must remain absolutely, like, just available. Wow. Available. Wow. This album that I've made is me the most available I've ever been in my entire life. Ever. Wow.
You know what? I'm hearing this on repeat from one of my best friends back home in St. Catharines, and he was a police chief's son. He got away with murder his whole life, and a relentless, nasty, not most of the time, but just out of control drunk sometimes. And he said, "I'm Mr. Available now, Jimmy. I'm clean, and I'm Mr. Available. I don't miss a call. I'm not too drunk to talk to someone. I'm not hungover. I'm not puking in the toilet. I'm Mr. Available now." And the guy's he's in real estate, and he's killing it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's here.
And Daniel O'Shea, the same thing, outside of my real estate office at Tim Hortons, just passing by, the business end of My Son the Hurricane. He's kind of he's certainly a local legend where I come from, and a guy I always looked up to and did, some business with in the music, side of things, because of the radio. I was always in politics and always looking for bands, and I'm just addicted to music, right? And he said, alcohol led to coke, and coke basically led to chaos and ruining my life. So I quit drinking. And he was sober a couple years, and I think now, you know, he might smoke a joint here and there, but he doesn't drink, and drinking doesn't lead to blow, and blow doesn't lead to the downfall of his existence.
Hey Jim,
Sounds simple,
I'm
but-
just watching the time for us, and I
Okay.
just wanted to share just coming into this moment, us connecting now. It's 2025, and so connecting the dots from where we started to now getting to here, is that I didn't used to think that I had a choice in. You don't understand. I get flooded. My mind. It just and it's anxiety, and so I wrote this song called "No Way Out But Through," and it's the first song on my new album. And the first, I can play some of it for you if you want.
Oh, that'd be great.
So it goes. There's a sign above my door that reads, "Happiness is a choice, so choose." I'm not amused with these self-inflicted blues anymore. I'm evicting the landlord. I'm evicting the landlord. Yeah. There's no way, there's no way, there's no way out but through. So go through.
Nicely done, Ash. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you, brother. Lots of love. I love you. Your impact is probably not acknowledged enough, but you had one on me, and I know that there's a massive impact of everything you've done. And we talked offline a little bit about forgiveness, and I heard that in one of the songs, the USS, because I went on a USS bender, you know what I mean, and I'm still on it. When what's his name from Depeche Mode, Andrew Fletcher, died, dude, I went on a Depeche Mode bender for months, and I didn't even, like, he's not Dave Gahan, he's not Marty Gore, like, he's just the business, and so in not prep, but just by being moved, I just went down the rabbit hole, and I hear it. Forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. And I can't give myself permission to, it's okay. And once in a while you feel like, I'm exactly where I need to be. And every choice that I made along the way has led to this moment. And I'm in the right place. And it's so seldom that we feel that synergy, for lack of a better term, and God bless you, man. It's, we are a product, and we are perfectly standing right where we're supposed to be right now. So I'm proud of you, bro.
Can I leave you with one thing before we go? And
Please.
that's it's this thing that I read, and it's such a declaration of balance, okay? And it's the balance between eating carrots and red peppers and eating a Big Mac. And this is what it is. It says, entertainment. You use entertainment to forget yourself. You use art to remember yourself. And so that's what I'm here to do is to just be both. To be the Big Mac and the friggin' banana. To be the art and to be the entertainment, and that doesn't exclude anybody. And I think I'm very thankful. I'm very happy. Thank you very much, Jim, for reaching out to me. This is the first time I've really been, talking about this, and being here and opening up. And like I said, I was in my room by myself, just terrified of life and other and so here we are. So thank you for the opportunity to connect.
You're welcome, man. It is my pleasure. And if you don't mind, I'm going to turn off the YouTube channels. And just after you go, I'm going to take a cruise through your selection of YouTube videos.
Okay.
Fraxinus Prime. Frax, if I can call you Frax. I love you, brother. Thank you for the time. And hey, if you want to dig further, I appreciate the hour, but we just scratched the surface of who Ash is as a man, but we got a good foundation of it. So again, thank you very much for your time, and God bless you, my friend. That's how you do that. Fraxinus Prime. I want to say Prime. What is Prime?
Like John Prime. He's also great.
I can't get Prime. I'm trying to get I keep saying Prime. Anyways, I'll get it. Brother, I love you. We'll connect soon. Enjoy your evening, bro. And I'm going to go down to George's. We're going to play a couple tunes from Ash Buchholz's YouTube channel. And then I am not going to go down to I'm going to go down to George's, but I'm not going to go down there to drink. Because, you know, I don't drink when I'm upset. I drink when I want to celebrate. And damn, if that wasn't a good conversation, I don't think I've ever had one. Because I don't know. I'm a big fan, but it's strange how you don't really know the human behind the stardom, and you don't know the human behind the social media account. This is such a digital world, right? And we build these musicians up. We think we have an idea who they are, and then you meet one and you're like, what? Now, I wasn't surprised by meeting Ash, but I was surprised about the depth of kindness that one human being could have. Oh my God, Jesus. He's so sweet and real and genuine and thoughtful and deep, and wow. How can you not just be drawn to that type of energy? So here's his YouTube. I don't think this will work for Twitter. Oh, I got to shut down. Yeah, before we do this, I'll shut down. I'm going to put this in the comments section. That is his YouTube. And then I'm going to go over here and shut down YouTube so we can play some of this music live and not worried about getting hacked with a copyright strike and the inability to broadcast live. Okay, here we go. So I think I can do this on the fly. I just cut this. Okay, see you later, YouTube. Confirm. Disable channel? Yeah.